A socialist just took New York. Delhi's air data vanished. India is talking peace while Canada talks crackdowns. And a train ride in Chhattisgarh ended in tragedy. There's a lot to unpack. Let's get started. Good morning. Welcome to Top of the Morning by Mint. I'm your host, Nelson John. This is your Smart Daily Briefing on what matters. We cut through the noise so you start your day informed and ahead. New York City just made history. Associated Press has declared Zohran Mamdani the winner of the mayoral race, making him the city's first Muslim mayor and its youngest leader in generations. With 75% of votes counted, Mamdani secured 50.4% against Andrew Cuomo's 41.3%. Curtis Silva, the Republican Guardian Angels founder, finished third at 24%. The turnout numbers were staggering. More than 2 million people voted, the first time that's happened in a New York mayoral race since 1969. That's a clear signal this election mattered beyond the city's borders. Mamdani, just 34 years old, was virtually unknown before his win in the Democratic primary. The self-described socialist built his campaign on lowering living costs for ordinary New Yorkers. He connected with voters through social media clips of him walking streets and chatting with people. His informal style worked. Andrew Cuomo saw this as his redemption arc. 4 years after resigning as governor amid sexual harassment allegations, he ran as an independent after losing the primary. He framed himself as a moderate Democrat fighting what he called a civil war within the party. It wasn't enough. Donald Trump made this race personal. He called Mamdani a disaster in waiting and threatened to take control of the city if the Ugandan-born U.S. citizen won. Trump even suggested Mamdani could face arrest or deportation. On Tuesday, he posted on social media calling Mamdani a Jew hater and urged Jewish voters to reject him. In a last-minute twist, Trump endorsed Cuomo. Syracuse University professor Grant Rear put it plainly. Trump will treat New York City more aggressively. There will be some kind of political showdown. Now, this election matters beyond New York. It's the first major test of Trump's second presidency, about 10 months after he returned to the White House. In Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger took the governor's mansion from Republicans, signaling potential momentum for the opposition heading into next year's midterms. Now, what this really means is that Democratic Party's progressive wing just won its biggest prize yet. Delhi's pollution monitoring system went silent for 4 days in early November, right when the city's air typically turns most toxic. The blackout only ended after Hindustan Times asked authorities about the missing data. Here's what happened. The decision support system, which tracks where Delhi's pollution comes from, stopped updating on Friday. When it finally came back online late Tuesday, data for November 1st and 2nd was completely missing. No stubble burning numbers at all for those days. The timing, well, they matter. Early November is when farm fires in Punjab and Haryana usually send Delhi's air quality into crisis mode. Historically, data shows stubble burning typically accounts for over 35% of the capital's PM 2.5 pollution during this period. In 2021, it hit 48% on a single day. This year's numbers tell a different story. Monday showed just 4.06% from stubble burning. Tuesday came in at 1.74%. That's a dramatic drop from last year when farm fires contributed 35.1% on November 1st alone. The Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology in Pune runs the system but didn't respond to questions about why it went dark. Neither did the Commission for Air Quality Management. Some experts say the lower numbers might be real. Dipankar Saha, former head of CPCB's air laboratory, pointed to higher wind speeds and early Diwali as factors. Harvesting got delayed this year after floods hit Punjab, but he warned that if winds drop, pollutants will start piling up. The problem runs deeper than a 4-day blackout. 9 of Delhi's 39 air quality monitoring stations stopped working on Diwali night during the most critical hours. The system still runs on a 2021 emissions inventory, making experts question how accurate any of this data actually is. Sunil Dia from environmental think tank EnviroCatalysts put it simply. Transparency is important when we talk about fighting pollution. Since 2021, at least 3 major studies tracking pollution sources have been stopped or scrapped because the government wasn't happy with the results. India threw its weight behind the Gaza peace plan on Tuesday as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar in New Delhi. Jaishankar welcomed the return of Israeli hostages and said India hopes the peace plan leads to a lasting solution. Sa'ar, on his first India visit, didn't mince words. The eradication of Hamas terrorist state is at the heart of President Trump's plan. Hamas must be disarmed, Gaza must be demilitarized, he said. The Israeli minister recalled how Modi was the first world leader to call Netanyahu after the October 2023 Hamas attack that killed 1,200 people. Israeli strikes since then have killed over 67,000 Palestinians, including 20,000 children. Beyond Gaza, the two discussed expanding cooperation in trade, technology, and regional connectivity projects like the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. About 40,000 Indians work now and live in Israel, a number that's grown as Israel replaced Palestinian workers. Sa'ar called India the future and backed regional connectivity between South Asia, West Asia, and Europe. Canada wants new powers to cancel temporary visas on a mass scale, and India might be the primary target. Here's the situation. Pending legislation would let Canadian authorities mass cancel visas to fight fraud. A government presentation obtained by CBC News singled out India and Bangladesh as countries presenting specific challenges. The presentation showed officials wanted to use these powers against country-specific visa holders, not just during pandemics or wars as originally intended. The numbers, they tell a story. In August, Canada rejected 74% of Indian student visa applications. That's up dramatically from 32% in August 2023. Immigration lawyer Sumit Sen warned about the sweeping powers this bill would give the minister. He pointed to 2007 when Canada closed files to clear backlogs created by their own inefficient systems. This push comes as Prime Minister Mark Carney faces pressure to cut immigration amid growing anti-immigration sentiment. Indians are the largest group in several visa categories, making them the most vulnerable to any mass cancellations. A passenger train slammed into a stationary goods train near Bilaspur station in Chhattisgarh on Tuesday afternoon, killing at least 8 people and injuring dozens more. The collision happened around 4 p.m. when the MEMU passenger train heading to Bilaspur from Gevra hit the goods train from behind. The front coach, where the engine sits and passengers often ride, took the worst damage. District Collector Sanjay Agrawal confirmed the toll and said 16 to 17 people are in serious condition. 2 passengers were still trapped as rescue operations continued. What went wrong? Chhattisgarh Deputy Chief Minister Arun Sao said the goods train was stationary when it got hit. Railway authorities said the passenger train appeared to have overshot a red signal based on preliminary findings. The railway announced compensation